Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I want to thank Brian and I want to thank Haley and everyone else from the Max Challenge family for having me on here with you today. I want to really maximize the time that we have together. So if it's about a half an hour of your time, that'll be great. I want you to watch this, rewatch this, share this with family members later. I want to be as real and as direct as possible. And I want to help you manage what it is that's going in our life the best to our abilities. And just so you know, is that, we're dealing with the unknown right now. Our opponent is the unknown. And that scares us. And our finish line as to when the unknown is going to cross this finish line, be done, and we're going to beat this, is unknown as well. So when you combine the unknown of the opponent, when you combine that with a finish line that's not necessarily in sight, that creates a lot of fear. And I wanted to begin with addressing this fear because it's real. Because some people will say, just throw the fear aside. And the fear doesn't matter. Or you got to be fearless. And I shared with people all the time saying that you're fearless and everything. Yeah, that is all fine and dandy. It sounds great. It sounds heroic, but it's not being factual. It's not being realistic. Fear is natural. But rather than letting it consume you, I love to leverage it. I love to turn it into energy because that's all it is energy. So if anyone is scared out there, is that is part of being a human being. What it is that you do with this fear is up to you. I'm going to tell you right now is that every single person watching this, every single human being on the face of this earth, probably at some moment has experienced a tremendous amount of fear. And that is natural. And so what I love to do with fear at first is kind of entertain it and exhaust it. So what I mean by that is that I love to just find out, where is this fear going? By asking myself, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario with this situation. Entertain that. Just give it a few moments. Allow yourself to feel that. Breathe into that. Whatever it is that takes. Don't shove it to the side. Allow yourself to feel that. Whatever it is that comes to mind for you with regards to worst case scenario. And then I want you to, and you don't have to do this now, but do it at another time, is that then you say to yourself, what's the best case scenario from the scenario that we're going through, this fear that we're battling? What's the best case scenario? Best outcome. And I want you to give that attention. That's actually where we're going to bring the most focus in a moment. And then I want you to ask yourself, what's the most logical case scenario? What's in your head probably going to happen? So when you exhaust all those different options, is that you are basically releasing fear. You're giving it a platform rather than suppressing it, rather than letting it eat at you, rather than letting it take you down that road of no return. But what I find more than anything is that, if we're spending too much time in the past, we're dwelling on it. Can't change that, folks. Can't change that. And if we're spending too much time in the future and we're preoccupied and full of anticipation, full of anxiety, we're spending too much time in the future. Yes, the past is a beautiful place to visit, but we can't change anything. We can learn and we can grow from that experience. So I want you to visit that from time to time. I want you to take away the messages. I want you to reflect on what you've done. Especially in times like this, I want you to reflect on times of courage. I want you to reflect on times that were challenging to you and you said, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can get through this situation. I don't think I can handle it. But something tells me if you're watching this right now is that not only did you handle this, is that there's an opportunity for you to learn something from it, more about yourself, but also more about other people. And then with regards to the future, I want you to plan. I want you to anticipate, but knowing full well that the future is out of our control. Is that if you find yourself getting too worked up and over there, what you're doing, too much time in the past dwelling, too much time in the future, ridden of anxiety, you're avoiding this moment. You're avoiding where we are right here, right now. And where is it that we're right here, right now? The challenges are still among us. The opponent is still somewhat unknown. That finish line is still somewhat unknown. But what it is that we have the potential to do now, and I feel like all signs are pointing that way, is a way to deepen our relationship with ourselves individually. You came into this world, my friends, with one title, and that was individual with individual needs. And no matter how many amazing titles you've added to that, son, daughter, brother, sister, friend, Max Challenge employee, Max Challenge participant, Max Challenge adopted brother, that would be me, friend, caregiver, whatever it is, magical titles you have, there's still that individual here. So if you think about this, whether it be the isolation that we're experiencing to a degree, this social distancing that we're experiencing, wow, I'm like, something has happened here where we're given an opportunity to learn more about ourselves, to go deeper. Because what's happening as well through this process, through this adversity, is that, yes, I wish I could go back and make like that coronavirus never first happened. But knowing full well that it did, and I can't change that, and nobody out there can change that, is that I have to believe in any type of situation, any type of challenge, any type of adversity, there are blessings in disguise. Now you might be sitting there and saying, are you crazy, Scott? Are you whacked? Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy for this thing called life because it continues. And we learn more through each and every situation if we make a choice to do that. So you might say, what blessings are in disguise from this? I don't know about you, but I say this with tears in my face. Wow, did I feel like I had a good relationship with my family before this. I had a great relationship with my family. My relationship with my family has deepened even more because I'm stuck in a situation here. I'm put in a situation where I'm interacting with them in all different levels of their lives. I'm connecting with people. I'm making phone calls. I'm sending texts to people. I've said, you know what, we got to get together soon, or we got to talk soon. That had been put off. I'm seeing in places like Italy, and my heart and my prayers go out to everyone in this entire world right now. But I'm seeing bodies of water clear up. Dolphins are swimming in Florida. I'm sorry, in Italy right now. They're probably swimming in Florida too. There's things happening with our atmosphere right now. There's changes that are going on in the environment. And while there's a part of me that absolutely deep down inside believes that everything happens for a reason, I don't know the exact reason for this, but I'm starting to see blessings in disguise come up. One of those things that's happening, and wow, are you facilitators out there, Max Challenge, is that you have an opportunity to sculpt and change people's lives. What's happening through this situation, through technology, you're getting creative. You're getting creative. Wait a minute, we have to do this virtually. And this is how we can reach out to more. And then Brian just blows the roof. I was watching Bohemian Rhapsody last night, and he goes, I want to punch a hole in Wembley Stadium. And the rest of the band said, well, you know what? There's already, it's an outdoor stadium. He goes, then I'll punch a hole in the sky. I feel like Brian did that yesterday by saying, hey, let's put this out to everyone. Let's have everyone basically join us and be a part of this virtual experience of exercising. And I feel that, wow, and Brian's got a huge heart, but would that ever have happened before? Had we not be put in a situation like this, a challenging situation? So ladies and gentlemen, this is where I want you to dig deep. I want you to think of these blessings in disguise that have come out of this situation. It doesn't change anything. And so where I want you to go with this is that when that fear, which is natural, happens, when that doubt enters, which is real, when that disbelief enters and it's real, I want you to do me a favor, because everything, fear, apprehension, doubt, disbelief, these are messages in our head and basically telling us and limiting in us. And you can continue to answer that voice. I really believe that that's where we're programmed to listen to, in this voice inside our head. It says this, I got to respond with that. No, Today, I want you to change the game. I want you to change your life. The mind thinks, the heart knows. Your mind, when it's leading the way, is about fear. It's about disbelief. It's about playing small in life. All of those ingredients that this environment right now has created. So right away, you can say stuck in your mind, and you can have your mind dictate you. Where it is that you're going to go, what it is that you're going to believe in, who you're going to follow, what it is that you're going to do. Or you can liberate yourself. And what I mean by that is opening up this heart. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a voice inside our heart that usually in times of crisis, usually in times of courage that's needed, we go there. But I'm letting you know that we can live there. You can live there 24 hours, 7 days a week, because when your heart's leading the way, then it's about courage, then it's about expansion, then it's about subscribing to the belief that anything is possible. And then this beautiful thing called your mind follows. Then it follows, and then it serves you in the form of creativity and imagination. Wow! And I see that happening, especially with our Max Challenge family. How can I connect with these people? How can I modify my workouts at home if I need to? Oh, I gotta get a way to have this go virtual and have as many people see this. We're getting creative. We're getting imaginative. That's what's happening. Because we're here. We're here in our hearts. You know what, experiencing folks, I go anywhere, so I have no problem bringing this up. This situation has brought to the forefront so many experiences that I have endured in my own life, and some you have endured in your life. Is that this whole situation, and again, it's being real, it's not bringing us down. It's reminding me of 9/11. Because what happened with 9/11 that's similar to now is that our minds were blown. We're like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I'm witnessing this. I can't believe what it is that I'm seeing. Is that our minds were blown, and then our hearts opened. Our hearts opened, and people started saying, how can I help? How can I serve? We didn't see color. We didn't see gender. We didn't see age. We didn't see wealthiness. We didn't see poverty. We saw fellow human beings, and we wanted to help. Now, I say back in 9/11, again, wishing that that day never happened, and my heart goes out to anyone who lost somebody, lost a friend, lost anyone. I wish I could bring them back. Yet there were blessings in disguise from that. Is that for some people, they are changed forever with regards to their hearts being open, with regards to their service to other people. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it was a few days after 9/11. There was a black man wandering around New York City, and he was yelling, he goes, I'm a black man, and nobody cares. And nobody cares. Do you think anything on this earth could have ever happened other than a 9/11 that would have united people, that would have dropped down all the judgments, dropped down all the division, or brought us together as one like a 9/11? I didn't think so. I know that's happening now. I know that's happening now. Is that we're finding a way to connect. And as I shared before, is that the more that we connect with ourselves, the more that we can get in our hearts, the more that we can actually find out what's going on with ourselves. It's not at the exclusion of other people, but it's doing the work, putting in the necessary time to figure out, how do I make this thing called me operate optimally, operate most effectively? Because when you get to know yourself, you get to understand other people. See, a long time ago, someone said to me, it's got doing for yourself, that's selfish. In which I said, you know what, you're right. If you do for yourself at the exclusion of other people, that's selfishness. I agree with you. But when you do for yourself with the intention of wanting to do even more for other people, that's self-respect, that's self-love. That's where I'm at. I am realizing more than ever, the more that what it is that I'm going through and my challenges are allowing me to connect with people around the world on greater levels, and, which I could say in all honesty, in a place of less judgment. I'm not totally there because judgment exists here, and I'm never going to remove this. What I do with that judgment, what I do with that separation, that's where I process with regards to my heart. And it's a never-ending commitment in terms of staying in your heart. So you can begin this because you could say, wow, Scott, that's kind of like out there. You can start today by asking the question when your mind says something, because you're not going to avoid your mind. I love meditation. I love times where I can create space in between my thoughts. I love that. But your mind will always be present. So rather than fighting it, I want to leverage it. I want to make peace with it. So when my mind says something that's like not really suiting me, not really favorable, is that I say, okay, that's what my mind has to say. What does my heart have to say? And then listen to the voice inside my heart and go with that. Again, the mind thinks, the heart knows. Now, a lot of times a lot of people out there have heard my story before. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but my profound example, when the light bulb went on, when I flipped the switch, in which I'm grateful for. You want to talk about a blessing in disguise? Is that I woke up with a numb big toe when I was 15 years old. And 48 hours later, that numbness went up one leg, went up a second leg, and left me paralyzed. No accident, no injury. It was just my time. And even after going through exploratory surgeries and everything, there was nothing that was available to cure my paralysis. It's been 35 years, folks. But going back to that moment, I remember when that doctor gave me those words, Scott, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you will never walk again. I remember hearing these words, and right away, my mind got a hold of it, because I had yet to train myself. Is that my mind said, my life is over, and it created the dimmest picture going forward that you could ever imagine. That's what my mind did. But then all of a sudden, the doctor said, but you're a very lucky young man. I said, lucky? I said, lucky? I said, Doc, you just shattered my dreams. How can you tell me I'm lucky? He said, Scott, yours is the 12th documented case ever. 12th documented case ever in the history of the world. He said, out of the 11 cases before yours, 7 of those malformations. I had a malformation of blood vessels in my spinal cord. Out of the 11 cases before mine, 7 of those malformations had occurred in the brain and went down. He then proceeded to tell me that those people never lived. At that moment, my friends, I went from here to here. And all of a sudden, my heart started beating faster than ever before. And my heart said, Scott, you're still here. You're still alive. You keep showing, you still have use of your hands, use of your arms, your heart's still beating, your mind's still working. If you keep showing up for life, life is going to be good to you. And folks, it was like the biggest life preserver that was ever sent my way. And while it is a challenge, is that I have that example in my life. And you do too. You have examples in your life in which you said, I can't do this. I can't get this done. And if you rewind the tape, again, I told you can't change the past, but you know what? You can absolutely extract information from it. And you can actually convince yourself right now. Convince anybody based on certain times where you say, I can't do this, I can't get this done, and you did it anyway. And so there's going to be moments, maybe like today, in which I'm a little scared. I don't think I can do this. I don't think we can get through this. Is that you reflect. You take a moment, you close your eyes, take a deep breath, you pause. Folks, we all have a pause button. I always tell people, pause before you say something, pause before you post something, pause before you allow this thing to run amok. You pause a moment. You go back to those moments where you demonstrated courage. You go back to those moments where you just demonstrated not that something is impossible, that I'm possible. Put a little apostrophe between the I and the M. That's I'm possible. Everybody out there has that opportunity to do that. So you go back and you extract. Don't tell me how insignificant those things are. Don't let your mind get a hold of that and say, well, that's not a big deal. No, in that moment, it was a big deal for you. In that moment, you said, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can be this. But you did it anyway. And I want you to say, if this is possible, anything is possible. I want you to bring that to the moment. So in times where there's some apprehension, times where there's some anxiety, you bring yourself to the moment and say, I got this. Because we're in a comfort zone right now. We are in a comfort zone. And fear likes to make that wall of our comfort zone even thicker. And right now, by doing a simple change to say, I am not going to be a slave to my mind anymore. My mind is a slave to me. I don't like what it's saying right now. I'm going to hit that delete button just like a mobile device. You know what? You can't do this, Scott. Delete. You still can't do this. Delete. And then I'm going to go into my heart because my heart's there saying, I've been waiting for you, Scott. Let's go. Anything's possible. Ladies and gentlemen, 35 years, I have awakened to a waiting wheelchair. And just like you, I awakened to my greatest power, my power to choose. My power to choose is my greatest power. Now I realize when I wake up, I got something that's waiting for me. I got a waiting wheelchair. And I have convinced myself, and I have programmed myself to say every single day, I got to get in that chair. Because that's half the battle. That's my attitude, ladies and gentlemen. That's your fuel. That's choosing to see this world as half full rather than half empty. It's taking a look at what's empty, seeing what I can do to fill it, but looking at everything that we have in our lives, ladies and gentlemen. And so half the battle is getting into that wheelchair. And even through this experience where, you know what, the mind's showing up and it's telling me, I want to show up today. This thing's gotten the better of me. The news has gotten the better of me. No, I get in that chair. And then the other half of the battle, where are my choices taking me? And wow, and I want to thank this Max Challenge family. Because while I don't participate, and you know what, I probably could do a lot of the exercise, and maybe that's part of the creativity. Let's modify some things, get more people with physical disabilities involved, because we need you. Is that I have a nice exercise routine here. I get creative in doing things. I'm getting creative with my family. That's what's happening. I'm moving my body around. Wow, does that help in doing whatever it is that I need to do to care for myself? So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to make that choice. To go into your heart, to understand that I have the power to choose each and every day. And to ignite that power to choose and exhaust it in all areas of your life. Now, my friends, as I said before, this is absolutely not easy. I want you to give yourself permission, okay? Give yourself permission to feel your feelings. Because a lot of people are like, I got to put up a front for my family. I got to put up this image. What I'm finding more and more is the more real that we are, the more that people are going to want to connect with us. The more real that we are, the more that people want to relate to them. I am telling my kids, I have 2 teenage kids and everything. I'm telling them, hey, you know what, this is where my mind's going right now. But I'm not going to let it get the better of me. This is my thoughts on the issue, but it's not going to get me down today. I am being real. Feeling your feelings. If you get angry, get angry. I don't mean at somebody. Sometimes you just need to communicate. Sometimes you just need to go outside and yell at the sky. For me, I got a punching bag in the garage. I got to hit that. I got to go exercise. Exercise is a great way of releasing. Journaling, taking time out, doing voice activation, whatever it is that you need to do. Talking to someone, telling someone, hey, I'm angry right now. Feel your feelings. Also allow yourself to feel that feeling when someone else might be a little down. I'm happy right now. You know, I just got this phone call from this person who I hadn't heard from in a while. Or you know what, I just heard about this great story about, you know what, how someone healed themselves of this illness. And so give yourself permission to feel happy and every other emotion. Okay? But again, like anything, don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it because it's passing. So feel those feelings. Before I move to this place of gratitude real quick, I want to share with you a story. I'll probably leave you with the story as well because I want to be very respectful of your time. And I told Brian, if you guys want me, I will be back weekly. If that's something you think could help you, I will come back weekly because I love my Max Challenge family. Is that I'm reminded of this time almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years in June, actually the day before Father's Day. I do a lot of adaptive surfing. I went out with my team. And I had a real thick wetsuit. The ocean was still cold and everything, but we like to go surfing. So it's doing everything on a wave except standing up. And so I remember Bradley Beach going out there. We had about 7, 8 guys. Caught my first wave. It was a little choppy that day. I don't know if we should have been out there, but we were out there. And all of a sudden, I'm there on this wave. And this wave doubled up and it rolled me to the point where head over heels, 2 or 3 times I went over this wave. And just as I had on when I was on my feet for the first 15 years, I remember wiping out and everything going head over heels, but you just get up, kind of get your bearings straight, which way is up, and then you're off. On this day, I ended up coming to the surface, and what I did is I can float. And so I remember just gathering myself and moving my arms and floating. And before my team got to me and retrieved my board and gave it to me, is that I looked over and I saw that my right leg was at an angle I hadn't been at before. It was the first time, I guess we're talking about that, at that time, 32, 33 years of paralysis. It was the first time ever I felt disconnected from my body because of this leg. I knew that I had damaged it. I ended up breaking my femur in 6 different spots. And I remember at that time just kind of like holding on to my leg. They brought me to shore. They put me in this beach chair. And before we took action, I was like, guys, I just need a moment. I just need a moment. And I remember closing my eyes and just thinking for a moment, is that, wow, what the heck is going on? What's going to happen to me? What's wrong with my leg? And I remember my mind getting a hold of it. And I allowed myself to feel those feelings, but something happened. And I know it was probably almost survival mode too. We're kind of in survival mode now in many ways. I went into my heart. And my heart just, words came out. Scott, look up. Look up. And I looked up. And I looked into the ocean. It had me facing the ocean. And I looked into the ocean. And I saw a beautiful wave coming. Unlike any wave I had ever seen before. And I looked beyond that and there was another wave. Beautiful wave. And another wave beyond that. And all of a sudden it clicked, ladies and gentlemen. It clicked. Is that, wow, you know what happens here? We're all riding a wave of life. We're all riding waves, peaks and valleys. But what happens to us through every experience, even what we're going through now, is that we can learn something. We can extract every single message, every single experience we can from being in the moment. And actually tell ourselves, wow, what did I learn from this experience? What could I do more in my life? What can help me to navigate this thing called life a little differently? And that's where the opportunity is. That's where we have a chance to say, wow, I want that next wave. I want to see what's in store for me. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. There's peaks in our lives. We're in a valley right now. I promise you, we're in a valley right now. But how would we know a peak if we didn't know a valley? How would we know a valley if we didn't know a peak? A peak, valley, you go back and forth. So we're in a valley right now. But trust me, and sometimes it's going to be within yourself. Sometimes it's going to be in the form of a loved one. Sometimes it's going to be looking outside. Is that there's a valley on the horizon. And I don't know exactly how far that is. That's what we're doing right now. We're building bridges. We're building bridges on how we're going to get to that horizon, on how we're going to get to that next level, how we're going to get to that peak. That's what we're in the process of building. But I'm going to tell you now, the best way to construct this bridge is to do whatever it takes, a deep breath. Gratitude. That's how I'm finishing this up. A deep breath and gratitude. So many times in this life is that we talk about what it is that we want. And I want you to want the world. I want you to want this thing called the coronavirus to go away. I want you to want it all. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Whatever it is that you want. But please, my friends, each and every day, make what you have a little bit stronger each and every day. If nothing else changed right now in this world, and it's going to, I promise you, but if nothing else did, can I not just survive, but can I thrive? And the answer, if you hit yourself with tidal waves of gratitude, is that absolutely yes, I have the opportunity to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment in time that we will never forget. You will have a time down the road to reflect on this. This is going to be in our arsenal one day. And to say, I got through this. And not only did I survive, but I thrived through this situation. That's going to happen, if it's not already, starting today. And for one reason and one reason only, because you so choose. Max family, I love you. Brian, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm going to leave you now. Make it an awesome day. Thank you.